Hey Spyral Gang, Two-Tone back with another Spyral combo video, this time more degenerate than ever. It's been about a week since I made one of these, though I was spending my time setting up my streams. I've been asked a lot about doing some streaming stuff, and I started doing it, and it was a lot of fun. If you are interested in watching me stream, you can check it out this upcoming Wednesday after this video goes live. I got a stream scheduled for 1 p.m. Central Standard Time at that date and time. Anyhow, enough self-promotion about my burgeoning streaming career, if you can call it that. Let's talk about this degenerate deck. So I've had a lot of people ask me about different options for pure Spyral lists. And while I still think this deck is preferable with a danger build for a couple of reasons, this is still a very powerful way to run pure Spyral. My personal problem with pure Spyral is a lot of the time, the best thing you can do is drone plus agent. It's the reason I actually made the Rongo combo, because you could make Rongo with just drone plus agent. Pure lists just suffer from a lack of consistent starters and extenders and the ability to execute a powerful combo unless it turbos out the Souls plus quick fix combo. So I want to make something more powerful that goes off of drone plus agent, and here we are, Shadow Priestess of Ohm FTK. And I know, I mean, a lot of you don't like FTKs, and if you don't like FTKs, well, whatever. I mean, that's what you're trying to do with Spyral most of the time anyhow, but hey, you know, I guess skip the video. But this is what I came up with drone plus agent, though I didn't come up with the idea of Shadow Priestess of Ohm FTK. One of Epic's opponents in the Discord had a list showing it, though I don't think they knew about the drone agent interaction because they didn't max out on agents. I did figure out the drone agent line. I'm going to show it to you today, as well as the Magician Souls plus quick fix line, because that's something that your deck tries to turbo out a little more and will come up. The basic idea here is you abuse two cards, Shadow Priestess of Ohm, which you get access to through Curious, plus a Selene to summon it from the graveyard, and the Ghost Trick cards, Ghost Trick Double Hand. Ghost Trick Double Hand is an honorary Spyral for many reasons, but if not for the reasons that we use it to make Curious, it's an honorary Spyral because it has an effect that lets it recur itself that is not hard once per turn. So the idea is that you make Ghost Trick Double Hand with two quick fixes. You'll go into Angel of Mischief and add a Ghost Trick shot, and then tribute that Angel of Mischief with Shadow Priestess of Ohm, sending the Double Hand to the graveyard. You'll then revive your two quick fixes again, make the second Double Hand, tribute it with Shadow Priestess of Ohm, and the second Double Hand will send the first Double Hand back to your extra deck. Then you can revive your quick fixes, summon Gold Hand. You get where I'm going. It's not an infinite loop, but it's a good enough loop. And you can pull off an entire FTK with drone plus agent in this setup specifically. I think the only reason you wouldn't be able to is if you draw too many big reds or too many drones in your opening hand, because you do need a certain number of cards in hand to get there. For that reason, I'm not running the other pure Spyral list cards you might see people run, like Foolish Barrel Goods. I think that's the best pure Spyral extender because it's good with both Quick Fix, Master Plan, and Magician Souls, but it's not good in this deck because you need a critical number of cards in hand. So I'm running Chicken Game. You may have seen me run Chicken Game ages ago as a consistency card, and drawing a card is really good. You can't run Upstart because this is a burn FTK, and Upstart will give your opponent life points. That's stupid. You don't want to run Into the Void because sometimes your combo can't go off and you just end on Appaloosa and Sleeper, and you don't want to discard your entire hand. So this is basically the best card, and I threw him some Forbidden Drops here just for realistic purposes. You do want to run a good going second card, especially in Pure. I am maxed out on drones and agents because the idea of this deck, as far as I've built it, is to go drone agent, kill your opponent. And generally speaking, in Pure list, if you only have drone agent, you end up just making a big Appaloosa and a Sleeper, which isn't the end of the world, but you should have higher expectations of yourself and of Spyral. So that's enough jabbering. I'm going to show you the drone agent combo and then the Souls quick fix combo. Let's get started. Alright, so here I am in the solo mode, just showing you off the combo. This is going to take a little bit because it is a fairly intensive combo, but it's strictly linear, so you don't have to do much thinking, you just have to execute. So this is a drone agent hand. I couldn't have asked for better. I did draw one extra big red, which is going to make things a little awkward, but I'm going to pretend like I did, and we'll go ahead and turn these prompts off because I don't want to be bothered by Ash Blossom for the rest of the game. Alright, so this is Drone Agent, and I'm going to pretend like I just drew Drone and Agent, even though these are relevant spell cards in the graveyard for the purposes of Selene. What's going to happen is sometimes you will just open only Drone and only Agent and no spell cards. So I'm going to just act like, you know, it's just Drone Agent and I don't have enough spell cards for Selene yet. So we'll go Drone, we'll go Agent, and we'll put a monster on top, and we'll call monster with Agent. This might be a little bit boring, but you know, we'll get there. So we go straight into Double Helix. The second Double Helix is important, particularly for this combo, and I'll show you why in a hot second. So we'll summon Helix, use Helix's effect, call monster card, summon Master Plan. Ooh, come to Master Plan. I should have gotten the royal one. Silly of me. Yeah, so we'll use Master Plan to get Assault Mission. And we'll use Assault Mission to go into Barricade Board Blocker. Hooray! So you'll use Board Blocker, Chain Block your Master Plan, because why wouldn't you? And discard Assault Mission to get Quick Fix into field. I'm also going to pretend like this big red isn't a big red, though it does mean I will have one less card in my hand at the end of this. It should not matter, and I'll, for a lot of reasons, but yeah. So I'll go ahead and get the first Quick Fix off Master Plan. We will get a Spyral Resort. We will activate Spyral Resort, and you will add your second Quick Fix. Now, you know, obviously you'd like to add Sleeper, but you are FTKing your opponent, so you're just going to go ahead and skip that. If your opponent's got Nib, your opponent's got Nib. You got to live with it. Maybe you have better cards in hand than I do, right? So we'll go ahead and Assault Mission and Quick Fix. In this case, Quick Fix would add Big Red. And you will Big Red Master Plan, as per usual. So I do have 2 spells on the field that I have searched with Big Red and Spyral Resort from the first Master Plan activation. We'll go ahead and get a Rescue Mission. And then we'll go into the second Double Helix. This is important. It'll be really important when you see what I do with the drones later, that we have the second Double Helix in the extra deck. You could get around having 2 Double Helixes by using Drone, banishing a Super Agent, and shuffling this, or putting this this Double Helix back in extra deck, and then summoning it, but that is a waste of material. You just need this Double Helix on the field as a name, as a Super Agent name, so you can use your Quick Fix effects. We will Quick Fix, discard Quick Fix, summon Quick Fix. Quick Fix will add another card. We're just going to keep adding cards at this point, just to get our hand full of them. We will Quick Fix, discard Rescue Mission. Rescue Mission, go to the graveyard, Quick Fix, summon, add a card. Quick Fix will add whatever you want. Big Red, sure. You do need to search at least one Big Red, technically, at this point in the combo. So we'll say search Big Red. You'll Rescue Mission, summon Master Plan. Now you will add Rescue Mission. All typical stuff. And now, you'll go into Duel for the first time. This will stop your Quick Fixes from banishing. That's important. You will, I guess you could do it this way. I don't think this is actually relevant. We'll just go ahead and detach your Duel because it's fun. Then we will overlay the Duel for Mischief. And Angel of Mischief. We'll detach Dullahan, because why not? Well, I guess it does. I don't think it actually matters, right? It shouldn't. Yeah. So we will, because we're just going to turn all this stuff into Curious eventually. But we'll discard. We'll bid Quick Fix, because why not? So add the Ghost Trick Shot, and now we will use Quick Fix to discard a Big Red. This will be our 3rd spell in the graveyard. That will turn on Selene. So we'll use Quick Fix, add another Gear. We will turn Master Plan into Selene just to clear up a little space here. I don't think it doesn't actually matter to clear up the space, but you do need to summon Selene eventually. So might as well do it now. And the Selene will have 3 counters on it, though I do have 5 because I did have the extra resort and the terraforming. So you know, the numbers do bear out. So we'll go ahead and use Quick Fix, discard Rescue, summon Quick Fix. Keep on doing it. You're going to get used to this a lot. Summoning Quick Fixes. And this will get our last gear, our last resort out of deck, because why not? And then we'll go ahead and go into Dullahan one more time. You will Rescue Mission back Master Plan. And the fun thing about the Ghost Tricks is one is a fairy, one is a fiend, and Master Plan just so happens to be a spellcaster. That has 3 separate dark monsters, or 3 different dark monsters, 3 types. We have searched every single mission out of our deck. We have searched every single gear out of the deck. So it does not matter what Curious mills at this point. So we'll go ahead and go into Curious. Oh, actually, I did this wrong, I think, but I don't think it's going to matter. So we will Dullahan. Put back Dullahan. Dullahan. Put back Dullahan. Funny. Then we'll use Curious. I could have used Ghost Trick Shot earlier, but it's not going to matter. You can do it either sequence, and I'll show you why in a second. So Curious will send Shadow Priestess Vome. Now, if your hand is chock full of gears, because you drew poorly. If you're curious, Mills an extra super agent, it might matter here, but yeah, there we go. It does not matter. I don't think that with the curious Mills will ever matter so long as your hand's not exactly 4 gears plus super agent at the start with no rescue missions or anything, with no spell cards. So at this point we can go ahead and use Celine. Take off 3 spell counters. Summon the Priestess. And we can go ahead and start using our quick fixes. Obviously, we'll discard Rescue Mission. Oh, actually, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to use Ghost Trick Shot, because you might as well use it. This is important. You don't technically have to play Ghost Trick Shot, but it's important because it gives you functionally a activation and a half of Shadow Priestess of Ohm. One, it obviously just works to put Ghost Trick Angel Missions on the field to do 800 damage, and then you'll have a Ghost Trick Shot to return to hand with one of your Duel hands, which I'll show you in just a second. So we'll go ahead and use Quick Fix, discard one of these drones, summon Quick Fix, go into Duel hand. So this is going to be the tedious part of the combo, but it is a FTK, and FTKs often are tedious. We'll use Shadow Priestess of Ohm, Tribute, deal 800, Duel hand, return the Ghost Trick Shot to hand. This is going to be the only time you do this, because the rest of the time you're going to be recycling Duel hands. So Quick Fix will discard Ghost Trick Shot, because you will obviously have added it to your hand. At some point in this combo I would have added my last big red if I didn't draw it, obviously, but I did draw one, which isn't unlikely. You know, your deck is full of gears for a reason, so you're not unlikely to draw an extra one in opening hand. The combo takes that into account. So we'll summon a second Quick Fix, go into Duel hand, summon them there. I might as well get some of these shiny effects out of our graveyard. Go ahead and use this Rescue Mission. Summon Master Plan, because why not? Tribute Master Plan. Do 800 damage. You will have to do that at some point in the combo. So we use Ohm, Ghost Trick Duel hand effect, recycle Duel hand. And as you can see, I've got 4 cards in hand, which if you're paying attention, you might notice might be just enough to do what I want to do, but it won't matter if I drew an extra gear or 2, and I'll show you why in just a second. As a matter of fact, I'll show you on this next loop. So I've discarded all my drones. Now let's say I drew this last resort. I have this extra ash in hand. How am I going to get cards in my hand to keep up this loop? Well, we have discarded 3 drones into the graveyard. And that drone has a very relevant graveyard effect that you don't get to use often in Spyral, but is very powerful. It is a free +1. So Duel hand will Duel hand to put Duel hand in the extra deck, the Duel hand deck. And now you can just start activating your mini drones. You will banish drone, banish a big red because you don't need those in graveyard anymore, add super agent to your hand. Then you can discard super agent with Quick Fix. And you can do that again. Nothing's stopping you from doing this as many, because that's why you have 3 big reds and 3 drones in the deck. You can do this 3 times to make up for cards in hand. Another non-once per turn effect in Spyral that you can abuse to kill your opponent. Why not? It's fun. You know, it's fun for me at least. Maybe it's not fun for you, but I love killing my opponent. I like winning. So we'll go into Duel hand one more time. Well, not one more time, but this is the last time I would need to do it. As you can see, I've got 2 more discards in hand, so I could keep doing it. But I'm going to show you some fun stuff that you can do to squeeze out just a little bit more material throughout the course of this combo. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn these Quick Fixes into not Duel hand. And I'll show you how in a second. So we're going to summon 1 Quick Fix, summon another Quick Fix, discarding our last card in hand. Like I said, I could still have 1 more card with my last drone activation, you know, just to show it off. It's fun. Drone, banish, last resort. That's funny. Add a super agent hand. So what you can do now is make another Celine. Celine is not a hard once per turn. Get used to that, man. And also you can use Celine to summon Celine. So I've got plenty of spells in graveyard, obviously. I would still have 1 big red, 1 resort. Well, actually, I would still have 1 big red, 1 resort. I just wouldn't have done the. I could have done this earlier, but I just wouldn't have done all the drone stuff. But you can use your Celine here 1 more time to summon Master Plan again. activate the Shadow Priestess. I'm getting hoarse at this point. Tribute, and then you can make a Link Kuriboh with your Quick Fix. Sacrifice Link Kuriboh. You can use Link Kuriboh again. Sacrifice Link Kuriboh. And at this point, I could just activate Shadow Priestess of Ohm and kill my opponent, but I do have one more tribute I could make. Because you could turn Curious and your extra Selene into this Exo Talker that you're going to run in your deck anyhow, so why not use it on turn 1? Who cares about your effect, buddy? We're going to use Shadow Priestess of Ohm and tribute one last card, and there you go. Drone Agent FTK with one card to spare in hand and one burn effect on field in hand to spare. And that's fairly consistent. Even if you draw a worst case scenario hand that has Drone Agent in it, that should still FTK through this method. And there you go. I mean, powerful as all get out, right? There's nothing stronger than making sure your opponent never gets their first turn. Next, let's show the Magician Souls plus Quick Fix version of the combo. Alright, so here we are with the second combo, Souls plus Quick Fix. I did draw one of the gears, which isn't a big deal. Actually, honestly, in a real game, it wouldn't be a bad thing to draw the gear. It makes your normal summon of Quick Fix in this exact situation resilient to a card like Infinite Impermanence, Effect Veiler, Ash Blossom, all that good jazz. But I'll add a big red as if I didn't have the big red in hand already. Obviously, if you were playing this exact hand, you would play Chicken Game and draw a card off Chicken Game with Souls. It's just a free +1 in that scenario, just like the big red. But, you know... I'm going to pretend I don't have it, just to be honorable here. So, you know, this is the typical Souls Fix line. Souls Fix, Summon Master Plan, send the big red on field, and the Rescue in hand. You could neglect to send that Rescue to draw a card. Oh, that's obnoxious. That's actually going to change things. Helix needs to summon the Master Plan. I guess I can just summon the one from Grave, so it's not that big a deal. So we'll go ahead and go into Borg Blocker. This isn't super important. If you're worried about an Ash Blossom, you can Chain Block here. As a matter of fact, I will pretend my opponent has Ash Blossom or something, and I'll, Master Plan effect, and I'll Borg Blocker, discard this Master Plan. This is actually technically inefficient because you do need a critical mass of cards in hand, but it's not going to matter here because the Souls Quick Fix combo is so material effective compared to the Drone Agent combo. That said, we still will be searching Quick Fix because we do need to discard him, and we're summoning Master Plan with Double Helix because we need to keep getting Assault missions and Rescue missions into rotation. So go ahead and do this. At this point, you could add Super Agent to do the combo you do want to get Super Agent, but you can hold off for a little bit until you're fully committed. Like if your opponent has an Nibiru or something you might not know they do at this point, and you could go get Sleeper later if your opponent nibs you. So you will play the Resort to protect your Spirals, but you won't immediately activate it. You'll save it for later. That's just the most efficient way to play this. I'm going to pretend that the second Master Plan is not in the graveyard, so I'm just going to act like I only have one Master Plan in the graveyard, because that's not a guarantee, obviously. So we'll go ahead and add Assault. I'm just pretending like everything's just, imagine if my hand was 3 Ashes and a Quick Fix and a Souls, and this is how we're going to play it, right? So we're going to Quick Fix, discard Quick Fix. And some Quick Fix. Quick Fix will add a big red again, because you do need another big red in graveyard to trigger your Selene. And I clearly have the spells in rotation because I have the extra Resort and stuff, and I have the extra big red, but I didn't actually have it at the start, so it's going to be more apt to play it this way. So we'll go ahead and Assault, and we'll add Drone. Obviously you do need to get Drone at this point. And we'll go ahead and Drone in and stack our opponent's deck. We'll put a monster on top, just makes things easier. Call monster. Summon the Master Plan from graveyard, I guess, at this point. You would get your extra one from deck just because she's a bad draw. You don't want to draw her if there is a turn 3. There shouldn't be a turn 3 once you get this far, though. So we'll add Rescue Mission. We can go ahead and link these off. Summon Dullhand. Detach. We'll target Master Plan, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Now we will discard our big red. Here we go. This will turn on your Selene. This is a relevant piece of the combo. So we'll just keep adding gears. Doesn't really matter what you're getting at this point. Go ahead and go into Celine now that this is all active. Celine will get 3 counters on her. 2 big reds, 1 resort. Then we will go ahead and overlay for Ghost Trick. Get all the cards out of your deck that you can before you commit to a Curious. We will detach. I will detach the Dullahan and the Ghost Trick shot. At this point, you would know if your opponent has Nib or not, so we're just going to go ahead and add our Super Agent. And now we just need to get into, what you call it? I'm blanking. Curious. We need to get to Curious. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and go into Relinquished Anima, because it's free at this point. And we will... doesn't really matter. We're just going to Ghost Trick shot our Dullahan. You could have detached a Quick Fix, summoned Quick Fix, gone into a Dullahan, and done the exact same thing. It all equals out to the same thing at this point. So, like, I could have detached another Quick Fix with Angel of Mischief, summoned Quick Fix, discarding whatever, going to another Dullahan, and then make Curious that way. But it's the same exact material no matter which way you spin it. So we're just going to go straight into Curious now. It's all very trivial. We've searched out every card we can search out. Though I guess it would have been better to do the Quick Fix play, because then I wouldn't risk milling a gear here. So maybe do that. I don't think it's going to matter, because it's a Souls combo, and you've got so much extra material. So we'll go ahead and get that shot back into hand as a free discard. Hold on, Celine. We'll get to you in just a second. I promise. So we'll go ahead and send our Shadow Priestess of Ohm. And at this point, this should look familiar. It's just going to be a lot more efficient. And hey, I discarded my Sleeper. Oh no, it's not a big deal. So we'll go ahead and activate Celine. Something I will want to talk about is it's not that big a deal to draw the Shadow Priestess of Ohm. One, it actually just saves you. You don't have to even go into Curious at all anymore. It saves you a lot of material that way, and you can just go straight into Celine and summon her from your hand, because Celine works like that. You can summon spellcasters from your hand as well as graveyard, so drawing the Shadow Priestess is not necessarily bad, though she doesn't help you perform the combo in any way, unless you end up having like normal summon her in a danger deck to make Curious or something and extend. I don't know, very unusual situation if that happens, but it might come up. So go ahead and go into good friend Dullahan, and this is where we started really. And as you can see, I have a much more flush hand than I did in the past, and it's going to be a much more efficient version of the combo. So, skip ahead to the end if you want to. At this point, it's a back Dullahan. It's basically the same thing. I'm going to just get all my prompts that keep annoying me and making this go slower out of the way. So we'll get Rescue Mission, summon Master Plan. Master Plan, get into the Rescue Mission. As you can see, I have a lot more missions and stuff. I had to use a lot less material throughout this combo. So I'm going to have a way more stuff going on. So we'll do that. Quick Fix can discard a Rescue Mission. Summon Quick Fix, and we can Rescue Mission Master Plan again. And these extra Rescue Missions that you have throughout this part of the combo, like once you're at this stage of the combo, that you didn't have to use like setting up your other plays, is going to make up for any other weirdness, like not getting all your gears out of your deck earlier and stuff like that. As you can see, like we're just starting our loops and we've already, stacked Master Plan off twice. Like there's so much more extra material in this, it's not even funny. Go ahead and keep summoning, keep summoning. And we're finally out of gears. And that's plenty fine. And I know this is fairly boring, but hey, that's FTKs for you, right? And you want to start discarding your drones and your Super Agent, because those do represent more cards in hand eventually. And as a matter of fact, I can eventually summon the Super Agent if I want to like link off into something, but there's not really more dark monsters I have in the extra deck to link off into, so it's not really that relevant. The Super Agent is nice just as a card. You need to add it to your hand as a source of card advantage through the drones, not because of its summoning effect, which is not usual in a Spyral combo, but here we are. So we'll go ahead and do that. And discard. Just keep discarding. I guess discard the shot. It's not doing anything. Discard, I guess, Super Agent at this point. Might as well make use of our drones in a second. This is a little slow at this point, but we're pretty close. You know, we're halfway there. We've got the loop online. We got plenty of cards in hand and plenty of drones to keep our hand full. So we'll go ahead and drone back an agent. Finishing a big red. Discard. I should discard this last resort too. It's obviously not doing anything. And I think, you know, if you need to go into your second Selene to summon a Master Plan or something and do another burn effect, it is good to have that last resort in there to banish with drone as opposed to one of your big reds, because you still do need 2 big reds in graveyard in like a situation where that comes up. So, you know, drone. Like at this point you can just banish a Master Plan though, so it's not really that big a deal. And yeah, this is the non-once per turn abuse of Spyral. So we only need 3 more activations, and we're there. And as you can see, I've got plenty of... Like, I haven't turned any of these other cards into more resources like I did last time. You just have way, way more material in this situation. Use our last drone. Banish a... Well, not a big red, I guess last resort. Like, if I did need to do the Selene thing, I want to keep that second big red in the graveyard. Not likely to be relevant, but here we are. At this point, Super H is the same as any other card in hand, so you just start discarding cards that were in your opening hand at this point. But, you know, this is the last thing you really need to do in this combo. As a matter of fact, we just need to clear space, right? Because these quick fixes are both Link Kribos, so you can just, I don't know, make a big old Appaloosa just for fun. We could have done this earlier, I guess, you know, summon Super Agent at some point, but we did need the Super Agent for the discards. So at this point, you just do the Link Kribo play. You know, when you have enough material left over to make a 3-material Appaloosa, you had plenty of material to FTK. We'll go ahead and... Oh, I shouldn't have done this because the chain animation takes time, but whatever. And there we have it, folks. The FTK from the Magician Soul's Quick Fix perspective. Like I said, you could have sequenced the Ghost Trick shot stuff differently, but it all ends up being the same. You just do your Ghost Trick stuff later than you did, or earlier than you did. And here we go. An easy win. Alright, so that's the FTK, both the weakest combo and the strongest combo. Let's do a little recap. Alright, so here's the deck one last time. So let's go over the pros and cons. Pros, you FTK your opponent. You don't have to worry about getting your board broken. There's nothing your opponent can do. If you go off, they're dead. The cons, this deck is not great going second. You obviously have cut a lot of your extra deck cards going second to facilitate this. You know, you're running a second double helix, you're running 2 extra ghost tricks because you would normally only run Dullahan. The extra Selene comes up. So you're running all of that. You know, you're not running Cerberus, you're not running Underworld Goddess, all that. Secondly, you are running an extra big red and 2 extra drones and 2 extra agents from which you might play otherwise. And while drone agent does get you there, it's a decently fragile combo. It's probably going to lose to 1 hand trap if you don't have Called by the Grave in hand, right? So that's kind of fragile, but you know, it's the price you pay for consistency because this is a fairly consistent version of the deck. You could throw in cards like Where Art Thou instead of Chicken Game to get access to souls more often, and the fact that you're playing more level 1s in the form of drone does make that tempting, but you just want to maximize your chance of drawing drone agent or souls plus other combo cards, you know, souls rescue, souls quick fix, souls big red, and that's where this combo isn't so bad. It's very consistent because you know you're maximizing on cards that combo Magician Souls by adding another big red, and you're maximizing on this 2-card combo with, you know, your mini copies of Resort and your mini copies of Terraforming. That's the reason why I like Chicken Game over Where Art Thou. You want to dig into any number of different cards besides Souls or Quick Fix. This deck isn't, you know, singularly tuned to getting Souls and Quick Fix. You know, Chicken Game can draw you a drone or draw you an agent when you need one or the other, or a Spyral Resort in these cases. The other downside is it does have like 2 bricks. You know, you're running a pure deck and you're running a 2-brick payoff. A lot of pure decks only run Tri-Gate Wizard because, you know, they're trying to subsidize their lack of consistency by not playing any cards like these that enable a more powerful strategy, but will brick you a little more. A fun fact is the Shadow Priestess of Ohm setup is very good with dangers. I'm going to show you the list that I would actually probably run over the list I showed you, but most people want to see pure lists because they aren't comfortable with dangers. But here's a danger list that I've run with this variant that when I was just messing around with it, and this one performs significantly better for me. One, it's better going second. Dangers are just better cards going second. Two, Shadow Priestess of Ohm can tribute all of the dangers. 3. When you discard a danger with Quick Fix, it will summon itself, and in the case of Nessie, also add a card to hand. That is incredibly good, because any card that you discard with Quick Fix, turning into 800 damage, is more efficient than any other random discard. So if you discard Jackalope, discard Tsuchinoko, overlay into double hand or whatever, that's 1600 damage already that you didn't have to do an entire double hand loop for. It's more efficient that way, so these cards naturally work very well with the Priestess of Ohm. Secondly, it lets you access Small World. A very interesting thing about this deck is it's fairly fragile. When your Curious gets negated if your opponent knows what's going on, but Shadow Priestess of Ohm is a dark spellcaster, which is very easy to search with Small World, the same way we search Magician Souls, as long as you're not trying to go through Mothman. Mothman can't get to her because they're both level 4, but Tsuchinoko, Nessie, and Jackalope can all get to Shadow Priestess of Ohm because otherwise they have no similarities besides the dark attribute. So you have a very easy Small World setup for her. So you can add her to hand directly with a card that searches, and then summon her from hand with Selene. Also, you could probably, in a danger variant, cut your second Selene and potentially cut your second double helix. It does not come up that often that you need the second double helix that much when you have all these dangers to link off instead of your double helix when you're doing the drone agent combo. Drone agent plus danger is a full combo in any list without needing this extra double helix. So you have a little more potential extra deck flexibility, though I was still running the second double helix because I was only trying to get footage for the FTK. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any more questions about the deck or any other variants of the deck you want me to run, go ahead and leave those comments down there in the down below. And if you liked the video, hey, like the video. I appreciate it when you guys do. And see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye.